So this is part of financial that most students struggle with, and I mean most. Like, I've never really seen a student who did a couple credit cards questions and was like, easy, done, sold, golden. No one really gets it on the first go unless you're a genius, and if so, I should put you in charge. Okay, so what are credit cards? They are payment cards that allow users to purchase goods and services with the promise that they will pay back the bank, as well as any additional charges. So you may have heard of a credit card payment before, or like obviously I'm sure you've heard of a credit card. Essentially what a credit card is the bank gives you money, right? They say, okay, yeah, there's like, $1,500 on your card, but you pay this amount back each month, right? Like you have to pay back that amount plus any additional charges. It's usually a little bit of interest, maybe certain surcharges on certain days or whatever it is. So you have to pay the bank back. And if you don't, you are in a lot of trouble. So it's not free money. You're paying all the money back plus a little bit. It's just that if you don't have the money on the 5th of March, you can buy a toaster. It's just that you have to have the money by the 30th or 31st of March so you can pay that money back. Some credit cards also have an interest-free period, others do not. So this is why it's super important to read the question properly. It'll be like, oh, this credit card has no interest paid on it from, the 1st to the 5th of every month or whatever it is. But interest on credit cards is usually charged daily. Interest-free periods will be specified in the question, but they're not super common. Okay, so to calculate the amount owed on a certain amount, including interest, we usually 9 times out of 10 are going to use the compound interest formula. So this is on your reference sheet. You've also dealt with this if you've done compound interest. The elements we have, this is the future value. So this is the amount that will be owed or you'll make. It depends on the question. For a credit card question, it's owed. This is the present value. This is how much we are currently have to pay back, and then this is where we're working out fees. So this is the rate. It's usually represented as a percentage, and then we want to convert it to a decimal. And this is the number of time periods. With credit cards questions, it's usually representing the number of days. Okay, so another quick point, sometimes the question will specify like, oh, it's a simple interest, which means that you don't need to be using like a compounding formula like this. But most of the time it's going to be a compound interest formula like future value because present value. But yeah, as I said, if it says, oh, it's simple interest, oh, it's flat rate, then you just use your simple interest, which is, if you've forgotten, I equals PRN. Flat rate is the same as that. Okay, so to calculate the daily interest rate, which will usually be given to you as a rate per annum, you do the rate divided by 365. So let's say, oh, the rate per annum is 12%, right? It looks like that. You would do 12 divided by 365, and that would give you 0.03. Or that's also equal to like, it's essentially, it'd be like 0.003% or something like that. You just do it as 0.003. Fun fact, if you're interested, this is the calculator I've had since year 7, which I did year 7 in 2015. Yeah, so I've had this calculator for almost 10 years now, and it has no numbers. So if you hear me doing a few more clicks than necessary, it's because I can't see anything and I refuse to buy a new one. Okay, also keep in mind, if the interest rate is given to you as daily, if it says, oh, it's 0.004% daily, if the question looks like that, then this, don't need to do it. Okay, let's look at an example. Howard bought an old radio for $600. If his credit card has no interest-free period and has an interest rate of 9.32% per annum compounded daily, find out how much he would need to pay after 24 days. Okay, that's our formula. Future value equals present value 1 plus Rn. This is everything that's important from the question, right? $600, no interest-free period, interest rate of 9.32% per annum, compounded daily, 24 days. So we know that our present value is 600. Our rate is going to be 9.32% divided by 365. and there are 24 days. So with all of that in mind, we would then place that into our formula. So 600, our rate, which is 9.32% over 365, you can just put it in as that fraction. Time period's 24 days. So we have to pay back $603.69. So this 600 is the radio. This $3.96 or 69, sorry, is the interest that we earned in 24 days. That's why it's such a low amount, right? That's why people are like, oh, having a credit card's worth the benefits, because you're not paying much interest. Yes, if you just paid for it on a debit card, you would just pay $600, but you'll see that the interest is so low that it's not that consequential. Unless otherwise stated in the question, always give your answer to the nearest cent in financial maths as well. So don't round that up to 70. It looks like the answer was 69. And as well, I think the thing that I always tell students with credit cards is the common sense test. Should the answer be 540? No, because the radio is $600. Should it be $812? No, because how on earth is it $600 for the radio and then $212 for the interest? Common sense. Does the answer that I have received make sense to the question? Apologies for the consistent water breaks. I am very much starting to lose my voice. Okay. How much interest did Howard pay? You should be able to tell from the question. It's just the difference between the future value and the present value. So our future value was $603.69 and our present value was $600. So it was $3.69. Okay, Diana made the following purchases on her credit card. We have a clothing item purchased on November 15th for $78 and a textbook purchased on November 23rd for $32. Diana's credit card has no interest-free period and an interest rate of 12.25% per annum compounded daily, including the date of purchase and the date of payment. If she pays the total amount owing plus all interest on the 30th of November, calculate how much Diana would need to pay. Okay. So, going through this, we need to calculate the future value for each purchase and then the total future value at the end. So we need to do November 15th, then November 23rd, then the 30th of November. So we'll do the first purchase together. We've got the future value equals present value 1 plus RN. So our present value for that clothing item was $78 on the 15th. So we have our rate as well, which was 12.25% compounded daily. We pop that in here. But our number of time periods, the question said including the date of purchase and payment. So we're going to add 1 to the difference of days. So we're going to do 30th, which is the payment date at the end of the month, minus 15th, which is the date of purchase, plus 1, right? Because it's 15th, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. That's 16 because you're including. If you include, 20 to 25, that's 6 numbers, not 5. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Not the difference, but the number of numbers. So we've got our payment here, $78, and then our interest rate and 16 days is $78.42 owing on that clothing item by the end of the month. So now we're going to find the second purchase. We have the purchase of a textbook on the 23rd. So we have, and it was $32. Okay, so we've got $32. 12.25% over 365. I'll just pretend I did the 1 plus there. And it was on the 23rd to the 30th, so that's going to be 8 days. Pop that into my calculator, 1 plus, and then 12.25% over 365. And it's to 8 days. That's giving me $32 and let's check if that looks right. Um, 12.25%. calculated on yes. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so let me pop. Oh, I'm missing a percentage. There we go. All right, so 78.42. The second purchase is going to be $32.08. And so we've got 78.42 plus 32.08 is going to equal 78.42. Hold on. We've got 100 and, oh, that's wrong, 78.42 plus 32.08. 110.50 owing on our entire payment. So as you can see, we broke that up, and then this is how much he needs to pay overall. So we did our 2 installments, our clothing, and then our textbook, and then answer by adding both of those together. Okay, let's look at example 3. Jimmy reviews his credit card statement for the month of June 2018. Jimmy is charged interest at a rate of 18.9% per annum, paid on the fifth day of the following month. There is no interest-free period on Jimmy's credit card. Okay, so we can see we've got 5 different purchases. We've got clothing for $40 on the 1st of June, an electrical good for $79 on the 5th of June, office supplies for $12 on the 11th of June, $33 for dinner on the 23rd of June, and then groceries for $159 on the 29th of June. Using the statement, answer the following questions. Determine the interest Jimmy was charged on his clothing purchase. So we'll do that one first. It is paid on the 5th day of the following month. So he paid for $40 for clothing. The rate is 18.9% per annum. So we do 18.9% divided by 365. And there are, it's the 1st of June to the 5th of July. So there are 30 days in June. So we'll do, including date of purchase, 30 days plus the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So it should be 35 days. Okay, and so then once we do that, 40 brackets 1 plus 18.9% over 365 to the power of 35. He should owe $40.73 on the clothing purchase. So the interest is actually just 73 cents. Calculate the total cost of purchasing dinner on the 23rd of June. So dinner is going to cost $33. It is 1 plus 18.9% over 365. And we need to count from the 23rd to the 5th of July. 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. So that's 13 days. And the total cost would be, so we'll put that into our calculator. $33.22. $33.22. The total amount of interest Jimmy was charged on his credit card statement. So we now need to work out the interest for all of these payments. So we know that this one was 73 cents. This one was 22 cents. So now we need to do the other 3. So the electrical good is going to be $79, and then our brackets with our 18.9%, 79, yeah, 1 plus 18.9% over 365, and then the amount of days, we've got the 5th of June to the 5th of July, so that's going to be 31 days, and that is $80.27, so it would be minus $79 from that, it's $1.27. So $1, round up to $1.28 based on the decimals. Then we've got $12 on the 11th of June. So $12, 1 plus 18.9% over 365. And our days, we may as well just count them: 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's 25 days. And that gives us $12.15 or 16 cents, sorry. So that is just 16 cents. And our last one is $159 on the 29th. So 159 brackets 1 plus 18.9% over 365. And our number of days is just the 29th, 30th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. So it's 7 days. And it is 58 cents. So we then just add those 5 numbers together. And that gave me $2.97. So as you can see, again, interest is not a major number. It is not, contributing to someone's bankruptcy or something like that. But it does slowly and very slowly, gradually add up. Okay. Let's have a look at our next question. Ariana is charged compounding interest at the rate of 0.036% every day or per day on outstanding credit card balances. She has $780 outstanding for 24 days. How much interest is she charged? Okay, so she has $780. This is a compound interest formula, remember? So we need to do $780, 1 plus, our rate is 0.036%, and it is for 24 days. So if we pop that into our calculator, it gives us $786.76. So again, we can just do $6.76. Okay, so here's kind of a cheat sheet for days. I'm going to give you a quick chance to quickly read over that, and then I'll explain what it actually means. Okay, so dates in the same month. All you need to do is take the last day minus the first day and add 1 to that. So if it's the 21st of June and the first day was the 3rd of June, then you just do the 21 minus 3 and add 1. So you include the date of purchase and then you get 19 days. If the dates are over a month, you do how many days? So let's say September 18th, the date of payment's October 11, you do 30, which is the number of days in September, minus 18, plus the number of days in October, plus 1. However, as you've seen, I kind of like to count out loud because it just kind of helps me be a bit more certain. Can't do that in an exam, but you can definitely use your fingers. So just do what works for you. I think that the first one is super foolproof. The second one, it kind of helps to just like count it out loud or count it with your fingers as well, just to be super certain. Okay, so we're going to have a quick chat about the tips that I think are the most important. Read the questions super carefully. You can get a whole question incorrect just because you wrote down a date improperly, or you counted your days wrong by 1 and you're off by 3 cents or something, or you added the final interest amounts incorrectly. So make sure you're super careful with those final dates and the aspects of the question you have to remember. Or because, you use the yearly interest rate instead of daily. Make sure you double check, is it saying per annum? Also make sure your final answer is to 2 decimal places. This is a money answer, right? You're talking about money. You can't write $780.1 because they'll be like, well, that's not necessarily correct. Like, is that 10 cents or 1 cent? You need to be as accurate as you can. Don't go over 2 decimal places. Don't go under. Also, try to remember some of the terms when you're discussing like cards, reading credit card statement, like payment period, payment date, interest-free period, refund or payment or whatever it is that you think like, I might need to know that term. Just have a skim over, remind yourself of the words that come up frequently so that you don't get stumped by something like interest-free period. Alrighty, that is